Welcome back to the All In channel. In this video, I'll give you my 3-month ownership review of the BYD Sealion 7. Now to date, I've done approximately 4,700 kilometers, and my cumulative average electricity consumption is approximately 18.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Now that number is pretty much the same as what I had in my 1-month review, so that's pretty interesting. Hasn't changed at all. And over that time we have taken some longer trips, but as you can tell, most of our driving anyway is open road. We live rurally, so that figure hasn't changed, so that's quite interesting. But overall, look, things haven't changed an awful lot. It's still a really comfortable car to drive. It's got a lot of bells and whistles that, you know, some of them we don't even use. Some of them are really nice to have. The navigation, the previous car never had that. So a lot of things have been new to us, and, you know, we're getting on really well with the car. It's nice having a reasonable number of physical controls. We could do with a few more in saying that, but look, it's still not a bad transition from an ICE vehicle, an older ICE vehicle, to be fair. Over the past month or two, we've taken longer trips, so we've undertaken some alternative forms of charging. Instead of charging at home, we've charged at a public AC charger, and we were able to pull 11 kilowatt. So that was cool, that went fine. I think the car was actually putting into the battery around 10.1, so that was good. We've also tested a public DC charger, our local one. That is a 50 kilowatt charging point from ChargeNet, and look, that went fine. Haven't really needed to use a public DC charger. So, but look, I gave it a whirl and it went through fine. I was pulling 47 kilowatt from memory, but that went without a hitch as well. So, you know, no issues on that front. Also tested a Tesla 11 kilowatt public AC charger, and that went through fine as well. That was a freebie, that one, so that was good. And I've also been able to test out my 22 kilowatts 3-phase charging cable. I was able to test that out on the Zero charging network in New Zealand, and that cable, that's a bring your own cable system, and my cable was working fine there too, so that was good to test out. In other news, I briefly mentioned there's an OTA around November, a couple of months ago, and that was a bit weird for me. I never got prompted to install the update. The first I saw of any change to the software, I didn't get notified. I was just checking the version, and regularly I was just checking in to see if it had changed from version 1 to version 3, and one day it just happened to change to version 3. So no prompting, no notifications that it was coming through, so I don't really know what I got. It didn't feel like it downloaded anything. It didn't ask me to download anything, so as far as I know, nothing's changed. I haven't detected any change apart from the version number change from 1 to 3. I'm still on the same 2506 version of the other part of the software, so yeah, I'm none the wiser really. I don't feel like anything's changed. I can't detect it, and I wasn't asked to install anything, so I think, well, yeah, that's still to be understood, that. So that's a little bit disappointing perhaps, but look, I'm on a relatively new 2506 so version of that, so, you know, maybe I had most of the updates anyway. I don't really understand. You don't get any real communications from BYD about it. To be honest, there is a post on Facebook to say a change is coming and when to expect it, but it's all very vague. So yeah, none the wiser on that front. So that's a little, yeah, I'm not sure. We'll watch that space. In terms of other feedback, the app is a little bit odd at times. Most of the time it's been fine, but a couple of times over the past couple of months, some things have changed inside the app. So I'm used to using PSI for tyre pressure. Sometimes it just randomly displays other units, and I didn't change that, and it just comes right a day or two later, or I don't keep track of when it comes right, but it doesn't take too long to revert back to the units that I'm used to using, PSI. So that's a bit weird. Just yesterday I'd completed a full battery calibration charge. So you're meant to do that approximately every 3 to 6 months as per the manual. So I did that over the past couple of days. I just did that at home on my granny charger. Pulling 8 amps took a while, but I work from home, and it's that time of year where we were at home, so no real issues there. So that's been done. What else has been happening? Yeah, just in relation to those trips, I was going to test out the boot, load up the boot. So we've loaded up the boot, and it's about a 5 to 520 litre capacity boot. But you also got your frunk of 58 litres, and you've also got the back seats. We're a family of 3, so we've got a little bit of spare room in the back row. But there's plenty of room in the back row anyway, plenty of foot room, so you can store lots of equipment and stuff back there. But overall, yeah, no real difference between this and our previous vehicle. We had a station wagon prior to this, we still do, just now a secondary vehicle. And look, overall, we barely noticed the difference. It's not quite as wide as our station wagon, so getting some things in was a little bit easier in that, but the overall capacity barely noticed a difference. So we're happy with that. And in fact, having a frunk was quite helpful. We also have a dog, so we were able to put some of her items in the frunk away from the cabin. Dog food, dog bowls, some things that are a little bit untidy, a little bit odorous. We were able to put in the frunk, and it's easy access, and it's away from the dog. That's worked out well. The frunk's great for that. Also put in cables. Also put in some Thai food in the frunk once. And just have to be a bit careful with some liquids splashing around, but it was Thai and it was splashing around a little bit, so probably not the best choice for putting in there. But worst comes to worst, we would manage okay with the odd spill in there. But yeah, overall that long trip was comfortable, really, really good. Did it in eco mode. Well, still in eco mode, to be honest. It's pretty good. Occasionally we've tested out the performance, overtaking in sport mode, and yeah, it blows me away. So no trouble with that. What else is there to talk about? Yeah, one other potential little bit of a niggle is the built-in navigation system. I believe it's based on Google Maps. There's a slight delay, or for me at least. Maybe it's how I'm connecting it. Maybe it's a compatibility issue, but I'm using an Android phone and just connecting to Bluetooth and hotspotting the phone, and the car connects to that via its Wi-Fi. And look, there is a slight delay with directions. So when it tells you to turn right, it's a little bit early. It's a little bit early. So it's telling you to turn, but yeah, the road's not quite where you expect it to be. So it's not, I don't think it's quite in sync with reality. So I found that a little bit challenging and a little bit odd. And I think that's actually been noted by other people with this vehicle. So it's a little disappointing. Yeah, that has been a bit odd. The directions are not in sync with reality, and the map is slightly out of sync where you are on it. So that's something to keep, something I'll be monitoring. But I don't have that issue with Waze via Android Auto. When I occasionally do use Android Auto and Waze, that's in sync with reality. Also went out and purchased some floor mats from Rubber Tree. I wanted something a little more heavy duty for picking up, collecting dirt and moisture. So I got a set of mats, so a boot liner, a back seat mats and front seat mats. And I got a bit of a deal from Rubber Tree over Christmas period, so they arrived within about a week and they fit really, really well. In terms of the boot liner, there's two options. You can get one for the boot in the utmost position and then in the lower position. I understand if in the lower position it's probably can take the most weight, the most load, so I went for a liner for the bottom position, and that fits in pretty well. As I say, approaching 5,000 kilometers, and you know, it's been a nice vehicle to drive. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me. We'll catch you next time.